Hello, everyone. We are going to look at an IELTS text today. This is reading passage 1. We are not going to look at questions 1 to 8 because those are not the type of questions that lots of my students and people in general ask about. So today I'm going to explain how to answer questions true, false, not given. As you can see, this starts with question number 8, which probably means that the answers to these questions are going to be in the second part of the text, starting approximately somewhere from here, or at least it's going to be closer to the end. Or we definitely know that it's not going to be at the beginning here because questions 1 to 7 perhaps serve that purpose. What you need to do real quick is not read the whole text, but to read the question and underline the keywords in order to understand what exactly the question requires. So let's look at it here. I'm going to use my highlighter. Okay, electricity was available for the first time on EEG when a new grid was switched on. So let's highlight everything that makes sense for us and but something that's important. Electricity was available, and this is the key piece here. For the first time, let's move it a little bit down here. The first time when a new grid was switched on. Okay, that's what it is. So let's paraphrase this. People on that island started using electric power whenever that grid arrived. Before that, they didn't have any electricity. So let's check it out. We're going to start skimming the second part. Prior to the installation of the new electricity grid and renewable energy generation, most households in EEG use diesel generators to supply electricity. Okay, here is what we need. Let's highlight this. Prior to the installation, it means before this grid came, before this new grid was in there, most households used diesel generators to supply electricity. Does it answer the question? Yes, it does. Did that grid bring the electric power for the first time? No, it did not. They had it prior to that. So we're going to mark it as false. This is certainly a, this is certainly a false statement. Okay? Right, so 9. We're doing the exact same thing. We're highlighting, we're underlining things, whichever way works for you. You're annotating the questions, and then you're moving to the text in order to find whether that information is given or it's provided but it's not true, or that is not given at all. EEG's carbon emissions are now much lower than before. So the key pieces are carbon emissions are now much lower. Okay, carbon emissions. Resulting in significant carbon emissions. But that was the information about the diesel generators. So they produced a lot of carbon emissions. But how about the new grid? Let's read further down. Because much lower than before doesn't say anything. In this case, it's going to be not given. But let's check it out here now. The work by the EEG Heritage Trust to reduce energy has resulted in significant reductions in carbon emissions. Perfect. So, in significant reductions in carbon emissions from the island's households. Right. So, the work by the EEG Heritage Trust. So, EEG's carbon emissions are now much lower. Yes, they are, because they say it was significant reductions. So, the answer here is actually true. Let's mark it as T. Okay, again, it's not working right from the start. Now, question 10. Wood will soon be the main source of heating on EEG. So wood is the key piece of information. Soon be the main source. Okay, the main source is another key piece to the sentence. Wood will soon be the main source of heating on EEG. So let's look for wood. Wood. What do we have for wood? Again, we're continuing. We're not jumping here or there. We're just going to examine the text further on. Wood. Let's Is there anything about wood? See, we have another part of the passage that starts with social benefits. I don't think it's going to say anything about wood, but let's just skim it real quick. No, I have to mark this as NG because it doesn't provide any information about wood. Oh, sorry. Okay, let's mark it like that then. No, how about if we get rid of this, and what we do is here. Just a minute. Okay, so NG. Doom, doom, and doom. Like this. And then the G thing is going to be drawn like that. Okay? Good enough? Okay. F, T, and G. So 11. Ig is quieter as a result of having a new electricity supply. Ig is quieter now as a result of having a new electricity supply. Okay, the new electricity supply is perhaps the new electricity grid that they're talking about. Quieter. The key information here is that it's quieter now. Let's see. I don't think there's anything about any sounds here, but social benefits. Okay. Okay, let's skim for anything related to sound or noise. Okay, let's look at it here. And the elimination of the constant noise of diesel generators. Remember that before the island used diesel generators that they're talking about here? So now the island is much quieter. Ig is quieter. Okay, noise, elimination of the noise. Okay, we mark that as true. This is a true sentence. Alrighty. You want to make it that way? Fine. F, T, and G, T. We have two more left. Well-off households. What does well-off mean? Well-off means households means families. Well-off means have money. They are not necessarily rich, but they're definitely not poor. People that live well. Well-off households pay higher prices for the use of extra electricity. So we have three key pieces here. People that live well, people with money, pay more if they use extra electric power. Let's check it out. Making it more affordable to keep homes at a comfortable temperature. One of the incentives for capping electricity use rather than charging different amounts was to make access energy equitable. So was to make access energy equitable. It means everyone uses the same or pays the same. Every household has the same, irrespective of income. Irrespective of income. Okay, so it says that they have available resources equally across the island's population. So well-off households pay higher prices? No, they do not. This is false. Let's mark it as an F. Right. Right. Cool. Let's move it down a little bit here, like that. Okay. And the last thing, the new electricity grid has created additional employment opportunities on Ig. So the grid, additional employment. That's all that we need to know. And here we have our final paragraph to the passage. Economic and employment benefits. Ig's electricity grid supports 4 part-time maintenance jobs on the island. And residents have also been employed for building work to improve trust-owned houses and other buildings. Likewise, the start of organized harvesting wood. Okay, no. Several forestry jobs for residents. So, of wood heating has created several forestry jobs, a part-time grid project. Okay, so we know that people work on this grid, and we know that there are maintenance jobs, and we know that residents have been employed for building work to improve trust-owned houses, and we know that there are some other forestry jobs. So the main idea is that, yes, there are benefits, and there are employment benefits to this whole thing. So the new electricity grid has created additional employment opportunities. Definitely and definitely true. Again, it's messing me up here. Alrighty. So this way we have answered 6 questions. False, not given, true, true, no, false, true, not given, my apologies, and then true, false, true. Okay, now let's look at the text. This was the second portion of the questions of this whole reading passage 1. And as you can see, questions from 8 to 13 just touched upon the second part of the text, and it didn't even have anything, the questions didn't even have to have anything to do with the first part of the text. In fact, it's a rather large chunk. These questions, questions 1 to 7, deal with that, but questions 8 to 13 are only here somewhere in the second part and not even until the end, really. So, all right, if you have any questions, let me know. Leave your comment right below the video, and good luck on the test. Goodbye.